Alright guys, welcome back to Valorant News. Big stories emerging today with the bracket for the America's Last Chance qualifier being revealed. Sentinels versus 100 Thieves round 1, single elimination. One of those teams out immediately, but Cloud9 Rooney reckons Sentinels are looking really good right now based on their recent scrim performances. Very much intrigued to hear your thoughts in the comments. Hit the like button if you enjoy. Subscribe if you're new as always, I would greatly appreciate it. Great tweet here from Zyppan actually kind of parodying all those things you'll see about like old ChatGPT, but you need to use all these commands, all this type of stuff anyway. So I thought this was pretty entertaining. There's also a teaser for Deadlock that's been revealed that talks about, so anyway, endowed with 4 striking molds on her face, accompanied by her comrade, they encountered some fearsome creature. Leading the charge, she lost her arm, but then she got a prosthetic arm, which elevated her abilities. So, there's some discussions about whether she's going to be similar to Breach in some respect, or how similar she is to Sova in many respects. So, anyway, that's what you've got. Key among them was the arm's empowering ability or capability, granting her enhanced control on the battlefield. So that's what we have so far on Deadlock, so more announcements about that I'm sure over the coming days. Quick crossover here between the Call of Duty and the Valorant stuff, because there have been some rumours that G2 as an organisation is looking to merge with version 1. So there's a version 1, they have an ownership group over there and they own Minnesota Rocker and stuff like this from the Call of Duty League and elsewhere. And there's been some rumours that that organisation is looking to merge up with somebody else. So version 1, of course, had a Valorant team. And do they still have the female Valorant team over there? Possibly a merger between G2 and version 1 is going to be happening, which would be really interesting to see what that would mean for the Valorant side as well. Bit of drama, actually, after yesterday's results at Masters Tokyo. So Demon 1 goes down on Evil Geniuses to Fnatic, and he actually manages to get a dapr jersey. It was kind of nice to see, actually, how big of a fan he clearly was and is of dapr. And, dapr really has done an awful lot, hasn't he, for many players that really look up to him as a talent. So, he was super happy he put the jersey on, said it was super comfortable and all this type of stuff. And then his stream got taken down. Or not exactly taken down, but it went down. So, it was unclear whether EG had told him, yo, you're not allowed to do that, right? Like, don't make friends with dapr. Like, Fnatic are still the enemy, you know what I mean? Like, we've still got to try and beat them from now to the end of the tournament. But, possibly what actually happened here was that Riot told him, hey, shut this down because we can't have you stream either because of the reasons I just mentioned, or more than likely because he was streaming at the hotel. And they've had issues at the hotel, right, with the internet there, having, ensuring that everyone can stream from practice against each other and have good scrim setups and stuff. So maybe Riot came to Demon 1 and said, look, shut the stream down. Like, we want to ensure that everyone else in the facility can actually get decent quality practice in, because that was an issue, the hotel Wi-Fi over the weekend. So maybe that's what happened there. Not exactly convinced, to be honest, of what the full story is. SoM and NRG, they're leaving Tokyo. It was amazing to see the fans. They're going back. And, of course, their next stop is going to be the World Championships. They will be there, but of course there's other teams that won't be there, and plenty of them will be at the Last Chance qualifier coming up very shortly indeed. This is the key one as well. One of the teams wins, and the team that wins, one from the Americas, one from EMEA, so we've got EG representing the Americas, EMEA Fnatic representing there, and then PaperX from the Pacific. One of those teams wins, and one of those teams will secure their region one extra spot at the World Championship, such that not just one team from the Last Chance qualifier makes it, but actually 2. So as Zelsa says to come, please win so I can keep my job next year, because he's playing now for Cloud9. They should be the most promising team you would think to get through the Last Chance qualifier as it stands, but it's far from a guarantee, and if they were to be able to get top 2 in the qualifier and still make it, they would very much be happy with that. This is what we presently know. The Last Chance qualifiers are coming up. This, for example, is the Pacific one, July 15th through to the 24th. So with a few teams already making it, we've got GenG, Team Secret, Zeta, RRQ, Global Esports, Talent Detonation remaining to fight it out for that final spot. It could be 2 spots if PaperX win. Unfortunately, in the EMEA side, there is only going to be 6 teams competing because Vitality have actually decided to withdraw. As Bone Cold says, sadly, this is the end of the season for us. Don't know what else to add here. Like, just hope everyone affected can find some sort of happiness and peace. Of course, this is related to the very sad passing of Twistin shortly, a couple of weeks ago now. And as Vitality say, in agreement with Riot Games, they have taken the decision not to participate in the Last Chance qualifier because understandably, they just don't feel like they can, in good faith, replace Twiston and run through the tournament. They feel like it wouldn't be respectful to Twiston's legacy, and also they just don't, as a team, they just don't want to do it, right? And I can understand exactly why. So as they say, the recent passing of Twiston has caused immense and unprecedented grief among his teammates and staff, our teams and our club. We can't imagine anyone else playing in these last competitions of the season. That is why, out of respect for him, his family and our players, we wish to bring our VCT season to an end. So that's, you know, I think a good decision here from Vitality, but it does mean that they will not be there at the EMEA Last Chance qualifier. These are the 6 teams that will participate, and if Fnatic win the tournament, as you would very well expect them to right now, 2 of these 6 teams will make it through to champions. So Na'Vi will fancy their chances, as will all of these other teams here. Heretics, of course, as well, with possibly Benji Fishy coming into the lineup. So this is definitely promising for this region. But as yet, you see, we don't have a bracket for, I mean, we can possibly figure out what it should be, but it's not officially been confirmed yet what the bracket is going to be for the EMEA or the Pacific side. But we do have it for the Americas. Confirmed last night, and George Geddes comes out and discusses as well, the big game, Sentinels 100 Thieves. So based on their placings during the regular season, they get seeded into a bracket where the best placing teams get the best possible seed, and therefore they get the maximum possible advantage. The worst placing teams have their first couple of rounds as single elimination. If they lose, they're immediately done, and there's nothing else to be happening there. And this is the same story, can you believe, with Sen and 100 Thieves. This is the bracket that has been confirmed from last night. So these are the 7 teams in question, right? We know that NRG, Loud, and Evil Geniuses, they've already auto-qualified. The other 7 teams are as follows. The top performers were Cloud and Leviathan, so they get advanced all the way through to the upper semi-finals. And if they were to lose, they have a loser's bracket. So once you get to this point, the upper semi-finals, you have a second chance. Every other team that isn't Cloud9 and Leviathan does not get a second chance, which is pretty wild, but I think it's understandable. So MIBR and Crew, they play first. The loser of that is just straight up out. No more chances. The winner of that plays Furia, and the loser of that is out as well. The big game, though, July the 17th here, 12 AM, you know, obviously midnight my time, Sentinels 100 Thieves. This is such a crazy banger series to have. The fact that one of those teams is going home immediately after this series with no second chances. Like, that is just it. That's done. There's no loser's bracket from the quarterfinals. That's you done with. And if you win that, then you play Cloud9, which is also far from easy. So, yeah, that's pretty wild. So out of these 7 teams, only 1 makes it, or possibly 2 make it. If EG were to pull off a miracle and actually win Masters Tokyo, then there would be 2 spots up for grabs. So who's going to be favourite here, right? Because Cloud9 come in probably as the favourites. They looked like they were going to almost make Masters. Didn't quite happen in the end, but, you know, they got very close. In the Americas playoffs, right, but EG eventually do make it through, and then, you know, so they're probably the favourites, right? And outside of that, who else is looking good? Rooney from Cloud9, their IGL reckons that Sentinels are looking potentially like the team to beat. I guess they've been scrimming each other, which is, you know, which they probably will stop doing now, right? Because if you're C9, you know you're going to play either Sentinels or 100 Thieves in that round. So you might as well practice against other teams that aren't those guys, because you don't want to give anything away, right, if you don't have to. So maybe they're going to shut down any practice between those teams now. But, yeah, Cloud9 really reckons that Sentinels are looking really good and might well be favoured in that series.
You're looking to play anyone? I will say, for those Sentinels fans out there, my boys are looking good. My boys are looking good. That's all I gotta say. I leaked it. I leaked it for you guys to know.
So even if Sentinels are looking especially good, there's no guarantee they'll win this one. I mean, 100 Thieves, we know what they did previously at the last chance qualifier, right? Last year, they made it all the way through. They got the win. They went to champions. They did all right, but it wasn't quite good enough, right? This year, they've been definitely been lackluster. There's no doubt about it. And yeah, this Sentinels series is going to be massive, right? So it's crazy the way this bracket has turned out, but I guess just based on seeding, that's how it is, and that's how it was going to be all along. So the tickets are now available for this as well. If you guys want to be attending the LCQ Americas Right Games Arena at Los Angeles, tickets are now officially available. And just before we close out the video, I wanted to mention this quite remarkable statistic, because we're a couple of days away now from the finals, right, of Masters Tokyo. And as well is mentioned here, Chronicle extends his flawless record at Masters Tokyo. He's played for plenty of great teams over the years, but it's kind of remarkable to think that of the last 4 big international events, he's going to be in the finals of every single one of them. 1 Masters 3 Berlin, 7 second champions 2021, won the lock-in at the start of the season on Fnatic, and is now again in the finals of Tokyo. So everyone he's been to the grand finals in. His record so far is 2-1 in the grand finals, only losing champions to Ascend as it was at the time, which is, in fairness, right, pretty big deal. You don't want to lose that tournament if you don't have to. But yeah, Masters Tokyo will come up, and certainly they'll go in as favourites, right? I mean, we mentioned it the other day, just yesterday, that their veto advantage is going to be very significant, right? Because Fnatic go in with the option to ban out 2 maps, and if they were to play Evil Geniuses, they could get rid of Pearl, they could get rid of Fracture, and then run the other 5 maps where EG are going to have a very challenging time defeating Fnatic. But it must also be said, the last final that Fnatic was into Loud, they, I mean, should have lost, right? I mean, Loud should have closed out on the Icebox. They somehow made the comeback and Fnatic won it. And also the last final that Fnatic played domestically against Liquid, they lost that as well, 3-2. So they do have a record of going very close in grand finals, Fnatic, and whoever makes it hopefully will, well, prove to be a big challenge. But Chronicle and co are definitely still going to be the favourites to close it out. But very much intrigued to your thoughts in the comments. Hit the like button if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you're new. Take care. And I'll see you next time.